So thanks everybody. So this session is about learn what types of apps you can list on the AppExchange. My name's Evan Hollands. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I've been on the ISV team at Salesforce for about 4.5 years. This is
Mark Custer, and I'm on the ISV team still 5 years, and I'm French, in case you're looking for a French accent.
and obviously I have had a shave since that photo was taken. As with everything today, please make any purchasing decisions on what's currently available. So what we're going to cover today is introducing the AppExchange. So you probably know what it is, but we're just going to cover off the points with that. What the ISV technologies are that sort of help drive app distribution in the AppExchange. We're going to do a little demo. Mark's going to do a demo of packaging, licensing, installations, etc. And then we're going to go through supported types of application architectures. So the AppExchange can support multiple types of apps. So the AppExchange. So as you probably know, it is the enterprise, or the world's #1 enterprise software marketplace. Apps on the AppExchange are typically optimized for Salesforce customers. It's a trusted and secure source of apps for our customers. So we carry a lot of the process for listing applications. There's a lot of security review and a process that goes into it. And then it's a forum for peers and customers to review applications, comments, etc., so that customers and other customers can get feedback about the applications. There's over 3,000 apps, 300 components, and over 4 million installations. And we're seeing that installation rate driving ever faster each year. So it took us a long time to get to 1 million, and shorter trip to 2 million, even shorter trip to 4 million. So we often get asked, as an ISV partner, what is the AppExchange going to do for me? So just by the numbers, we see that like 83% of our customers have one AppExchange app installed. Probably the more interesting statistic is that 27% of our customers have 6 or more apps from the AppExchange installed. So once they start to get using apps from the AppExchange, then they start to look to that as a pathway to solving their problems. Partners who tend to drive more than 50% of their business through AppExchange apps have on average seen 48% year-on-year growth. So it's a very vibrant ecosystem. And as Parker referenced in the keynote this morning, the Salesforce ecosystem is going to drive nearly 4 billion into GDP by 2020. So this is part of our growth strategy. We often say we can't do this on our own, and the AppExchange and the partner programs are a real way as to how we can grow together. So ISV Force is a sort of a name that we put together to capture the collective set of technologies that sort of drives the AppExchange and drives the ISV program. So you might be familiar with unmanaged packages as a way of replicating metadata between Salesforce environments. For the AppExchange, we talk pretty much exclusively about managed packages. And managed packages sort of like the secret sauce for the AppExchange. It's what drives licensing. It's what drives push and pull upgrades for customers. And it's really what we support. It's the only option we support for distribution if you're distributing native Salesforce technology. So typically, you'll have a developer org. So this is different to like sandboxes. So developer orgs allow you to define namespaces, which give you unique identifiers for managed packages. And you take your metadata and you put that into a managed package. And then when a customer wants to install the application, your metadata is replicated via the package into their environment. And they can do cool things like extend your custom fields, add their own Visualforce pages, or use Lightning components on top of your package. So there's a lot of that extensibility of the platform is still capable with those managed packages. So AppExchange also supports trials, leads, licensing, etc. So typically you'll have the AppExchange, you have a customer environment. It might be a customer's existing sandbox or their production instance. It could also be a new trial, so they haven't actually started paying for it yet. It could be a trial from an OEM partner as well. And then we have a business org. So a business org is another org that an ISV company, ISV partner would use, which allows them to do things like manage licenses, manage leads. So you can see that we have the license management app installed there. So this is a managed package that we as Salesforce provide to partners, which allows you to do things like remotely manage access to the packages and so on. And so what typically happens is the AppExchange is a source of leads to the ISV partner business org. Customers will typically install a managed package or start a trial of an application from the AppExchange, and then the ISV's typically salesperson will manage the licensing, and the license management app also allows you to remotely support your customers in the same way that Salesforce supports our customers. So customers can grant access from the package in their environment. They can grant access to allow the ISV to log in as that customer and debug applications and so on. So now I'm going to hand over to Mark, and he's going to do a demo for us.
So I'm just going to try to show you all this live. So I'm going to use a certain amount of orgs so that we can survive. So I'm going to start by being a developer in my packaging org. So let me just ensure you can see something. So typically, as a developer, I've been building my application into my packaging org. So all I'm going to do now is show you how to package itself. So typically, I go here, search for package, go into package manager. Okay. And the first thing you have to define, and maybe I should increase a little bit, is the namespace. So the namespace prefix has to be unique because your metadata could be the same as mine, but by having this prefix, I'm sure that once I'm deploying your managed package into the customer orgs, it will always be functional. So you have to select this. After that, you're going to provide me a name. This one is MK Warehouse, and this environment let me do unmanaged packages. I have the two. The first one you can see here is the MK Warehouse. It has this lovely logo, the green one, that says this is a managed package, so I will have much more flexibility. I will be able to do push upgrades, protect my IP, and so on. And this one is a regular unmanaged package. I'm not going to go into this one. Just going to click into this managed package. And the first thing you can see is all the components. This is the metadata component. And you can see where they're coming from, and you can see the life cycle of your application by this available in the version. So indeed, if I click on the version tabs, I can see that I've been working, or some people in my company have been working, and I'm currently in the 1.67 releases. Okay? So I can see there is like major releases, patch releases. This is really when you just have to debug your application, like Apex issues, Lightning component issue, Visualforce issues, and that's why you have this patch organization tab. An interesting point is this push upgrades. Right? Again, we're providing this for you. So what you can do is simply click on this schedule, and the system is going to ask us which version would you like to push, and I'm going to go for the latest one. And automatically, without doing anything, we are retrieving all the customers that can support this version for you. After that, it's up to you to go for all in, or you just select them. You can make exception, and then you press the button, and then you can push your new version to all those selected partners, or customers, sorry. Okay, I'm not going to do this because it takes a couple of times and so on. And I don't want to disturb them today because they're all sleeping, because all my customers or fake ones are based in France. That said, most of the time what you do is you go into the component, you create new component, you select them, and what you want to do is create a new version of your package. To do that, you click on the upload button. The upload button is just like grabbing all this metadata and make it available on the AppExchange. That's all it does. So now I'm just going to move into how can I select this package? Where do I go? So today, you don't go into the AppExchange because the AppExchange is for customers to find it. You will go into the partner community. So I'm going to go into the partner community. And in the partner community, I can go into the publishing area. The publishing area is, for me as an ISV, this is where I'm going to be able to build my listings that are going to show up in the AppExchange. So the first thing you should do is go into the organization tabs to ensure that your packaging org is declared, connected to this system. So here it's done. I can select this, and you will see this is the PDO warehouse. And you remember I show you I have two packages. They show up here. Because this org is connected to this environment, if I go into Packages tab, I will be able to retrieve my package and also all the versions. And here we go, 167 and so on. What is quite interesting is for each package, each version, you're going to have to define how you want to do this trial experience, right? This is like how people are going to be able to try your application without buying it. So here you define the time, the number of license, but also you have to pass the security review. I don't know if you're aware of that, but there is a security review process. So this is where you fire it from there. If your version has not passed the security review, you can't publish it completely on the AppExchange because you have to pass that. But you can do a private listing so that people can work. So I'm just going to show you this. So typically you go into the listing, and the listing is, I have multiple listings, so I'm just going to click on my MK warehouse. And it asks for a couple of text, also media to make it fancy and lovely, and also app. This is where I'm going to articulate which package version I want to be seen in the AppExchange, right? Because right now, I have configured my new version, and I'm just manipulating this. So right now, I have like the 1.66. Again, it has passed security review. I have information about this. I can change it for it. Okay? I'm not going to go into trials and leads, but this is quite important. But I believe that pricing is important. So the question is like, once you're going to distribute your application, and whatever the architecture is it like native, composite, and so on? We'll come back into this. You have to define if you want to sell it with us directly, or if you want to sell it through what we name credit card, and this is checkout, in case you never discovered that. Checkout is really like selling mainly B2B or just by credit card. So based on what you're going to select, you're just going to declare a certain amount of things, and after that, you're going to have to click on Save. If you have passed the security review, your listing becomes automatically public. So this means that any customers now can search for it. Okay? And this is the last part of my demonstration, which is now I'm going to change again, use Safari, and now I'm just a customer. I'm a system administrator. And as such, I have lots of tasks to do. And currently, people are asking me to modify some pages. So I'm going to use the builder, the app builder. Or not. We'll see. Oh, did I click? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. So I'm going to edit a page. So I move now into the Lightning Builder editor. And what you can see now, or maybe not, is here I have a shortcut to go to the AppExchange. So this is quite interesting. You don't need, as a customer, to go into the AppExchange website anymore. You can just go from there. And because it knows that you are coming from the app builder, you're looking for Lightning components. So rather than going into the traditional AppExchange, which is app-centric, it's just going to go into the new one, or it's not that new, indeed. It just may be unknown for you, but we have different type. And this one is the component store. So from there, I can search, and I will recommend you to go for Recruit, which is the recruiting Lightning component packages that is built by my team, and then you can install it the same way you do for apps. But you can also change your mind and go into an apps, and again, you will be able to search for warehouse, which is still the name of my application, and you won't be able to see it because it's a private one. I'm a Salesforce employee. I'm not supposed to sell my stuff, and I try to follow the rules, despite being French. So that said, once I've done all these things, Okay, I'm going to be able to find my Lightning component into the app builder, and they are all stored here under custom Lightning component that are managed because they're coming from a managed package. And from there, I can just like drag and drop them, fulfill them, save my page, and so on. Okay? Last thing I'm going to show you is, because I did some work, I'm going to come back into the package, into the install packages, because Evan was talking about customers that do consume a huge amount of ISV managed package. I'm part of that, right? I have a couple here. What is interesting is I already installed my packaging that I show you at the beginning of the demonstration, which is AMK Warehouse. And as you can see, I've been purchasing 4 licenses, and I'm consuming 4 licenses. So now I'm going to step back into an ISV, and I'm going to show you how I can monitor and collaborate with my customer to provide them more licenses. So I'm going to switch back into what we named the ISV business org, and we introduce you this, whereby I have licenses. So each time a customer is installing your managed package, it generates automatically a license record. And I search for the good one, which is L12, and as you can see, it has 4 licenses. So now I'm just going to go here, modify license, and I don't know how many you are, let's go for 25. I'm just going to change that to 25, save it, and going back to my customer, I'm just going to refresh that page to see if the magic is really magic and that I have now 25 licenses. That's as simple as this. So all the goal is to show you that as a developer, you don't need to develop all those very expensive tools that you need to do traditionally. And that's it for my demonstration. So
thank you, Mark. So that kind of leads us on to, from the technology onto what sort of apps do we typically see, and we're sort of phrasing this in terms of architectures. So the first one is what we would call a native application. So this is where the app is purely metadata in a managed package. There's no external integrations, no consumption of external web services or anything. The app is effectively the managed package, and the licensing is all driven purely by the managed package licensing that we saw Mark demonstrate. Typically, we see these, like if you're building new products, you leverage the power of the platform. It's a really fast go-to-market. You don't have to build your own licensing systems. You don't have to build the whole support stuff. You get all of that from us. And you'll see this on a couple of the other slides just for comparison. We're talking about native apps get full access to our customer ecosystem, 150,000 plus customers. There's an augmented selling model, so this is a bit more commercial, but there's a revenue share agreement, and our Salesforce direct AEs will get some compensation when you sell apps into their account. So that sort of makes us a mutual success model from a customer perspective. And this like native apps typically won't have an upfront fee associated with them at all. So that was sort of force.com applications, but we also have programs that allow Einstein Analytics apps or Analytics Cloud apps. So you can build data sets, lenses, dashboards, package those up inside a managed package and distribute those to customers as well. And we also recently launched the Data Exchange. So if you're a company that effectively monetizes data, and that data would be relevant to Salesforce customers, it might be business information about potential partners or some sort of lead source. You can give the data into the Data Exchange, so we'll host that large data set, and we give you an API to push updates to it. You can define a managed package which has matching rules, similar to the way data.com was configured. And then the customer can enrich their Salesforce, either standard objects or custom objects, from that external data. And again, we're trying to make it very simple here, where we take on the burden of hosting that data and providing the integration to the platform, so you're not thinking about, do I use bulk APIs, how do I stay within limits, etc. We'll look after all of that for you. So a good example of a native application was Sage Live. So they have great use of the declarative platform, where they're leveraging a lot of our standard functionality to accelerate the app development, so they're not having to rebuild navigation, they're not having to rebuild things like filtering lists and criteria, etc. They get to leverage that, and they really get to focus on what they're good at, which is the domain expertise of accounting. Standard reports, all of this stuff they basically get for free having built on the platform. And we're going to see in a second they also have an integrated Wave Analytics app as part of their suite as well. So the next sort of architecture is what we call a composite application. So it's typically a managed package plus something external. And really what we're saying is, like, if you've developed on the platform, there are certain things that the platform is really good at, sort of business process, data entry, data management, some reporting analytics. It's not good at perhaps complex algorithmic data manipulation or binary file manipulation or dealing with really large-scale challenges for complex processing or something. So what we see partners doing is leveraging their expertise in other platforms to augment a traditional business application on our platform. And it's sort of that 80-20 mix of, like, a standard application will require data entry and workflow and reporting and user security and sharing models and all of these things. But the secret sauce for the ISV is that magic bit that they do outside. And so we can find lots of different models for this. We have some partners that do native applications on mobile devices that talk to a managed package on the platform, maybe no intermediate layer running on AWS or Azure. But anything that consumes something external, and it could be owned by the ISV, or it could be like a third-party API, so maybe you're connecting to an accounting package or something and you're providing a managed connector for that. So again, composite apps have the same sort of benefits in terms of the customer ecosystems, the augmented selling. Because we have the managed package, we can do the revenue share program on that, and so again, no upfront fees. And a good example of a composite app is DocuSign. So DocuSign is electronic signatures. Typically, they need to identify a user who's not a Salesforce user, which would be the customer who's going to sign the document. So it doesn't make sense for that customer or that user to have a Salesforce license. So they have an external platform where somebody sets it up, it gets sent to them via email, and then they sign it. And that's happening outside of Salesforce. But the user for Salesforce always stays inside Salesforce. They're monitoring the status of the signature and sending all of those out from Salesforce. And so, it's good. I like it because it reduces context switching. So they've leveraged our platform quite well to build functionality for the user where the user operates. Yeah. So the last one is what we sort of call API only or connector apps. And this is where some partners start. So they've already developed an application, they've gone out to market, they've got customers, they are a software business. And then maybe they come across a joint customer. So it's a customer that uses Salesforce and uses their application, and they say, I think I've got a use case here, but maybe I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, and I don't want to invest in a managed package just yet, but I want to be part of the program, part of the ecosystem. So again, you still get access to our customer base in this one, but because for this model, we have nothing to track except sort of API usage, we do it on an upfront fee. So there's no revenue share in this model, it's just an upfront fee which goes for 12 months and is based around the number of customers that you acquire. And typically what we do is we help prove out the model to then get you into a rev share program. We work with you about what the managed package might look like, and you're already engaged with our customer base to try and define what the integration and what the value is going to be. And a good example of a connector app is Get Feedback. So Get Feedback have their own survey form, their application. They realised that they were coming a lot of our customers who wanted to integrate their data back into our platform. So they built out some functionality on their platform to allow you to map fields from a survey. And we're going to see here in a sec, we'll switch over into a Salesforce One mode. And so that just maps into a custom object that an administrator has defined. They put the fields on it to represent the survey answers, and then we can perform analytics on that. So again, I can run customer surveys out of Salesforce using get feedback as the engagement mechanism for the survey person. So that's sort of the architectures covered. And just before you head back out on the trail, I wanted to point out that a lot of this content is on Trailhead. We have AppExchange Basics trails, and we have Build Apps as an ISV partner trail. We're always adding to this, so we've got trails there about trial management, we've got trails about security review process, we have trails about packaging. So I encourage you to look at those and some badges. Oh, and I should say we have, if there's more business people in the audience, we have trails there for like how to define an app strategy, how to prepare your business from a go-to-market perspective, how to sell like Salesforce, etc. And so finally, I'd ask you to join the partner community. So once you join the partner community, we give you access to an environment where you can create partner developer orgs. So these are like the free developer orgs that we have at developer.salesforce.com, but they come with more licenses, more storage entitlement, more API entitlement, etc. Because you need more of that to build a product. You get the trial of the business org is how that's delivered. And then take the trailheads, learn about it. I can't stress the importance of understanding the business model that you want to execute up front. So some of the planning trailheads, ISV business planning trailheads, are really good at teaching you some vocabulary around total addressable market, target customers, etc. They get you thinking about the revenue streams and who your users are going to be. Typically then you'll use that trial environment to spin up developer instances. These developer instances will never expire as long as you're using them, so they're free in perpetuity. So you then build your application, and then once you've got through security review, you can list it on the AppExchange and go live. And we say sell, market, and succeed. So with that, I'll just open it up for any Q&A.
Is this any developer edition or special developer edition?
Sorry.
Developer edition, normal developer edition, or special developer edition?
It's a partner developer edition, which is exactly the same as a free developer edition, but we just increase the license and entitlements in it. So I think the free one comes with 2 licenses, and the partner developer one is 25, or is it 20?
20.
20.
How about testing the scalability in terms of data volume and number of users?
Yeah. So
Can you just repeat?
yeah. So the question was testing for scalability, large data volumes, etc. So we make a part of the program. You can log a case to get a large data volume environment. So again, we really want you to be successful with your first encounters with customers. And in Tom's presentation earlier, we really want you to try and identify some of these issues up front. So the large data volume environment is a sandbox where you basically tell us, I think you can have up to 100 gigabytes of data storage. You can sort of make requests around licensing things. Depending on what your use is, it might be complex security model that you're trying to model as opposed to large data volumes. But tell us what you need, and you can have that environment for 60 days, twice a year for free. If you need something more than that and an ongoing thing, then we sell it to you for the cost of the storage.
It could be also for a concurrent user if you want to test like 10,000 concurrent user.
Yeah. So that, yeah, we have a concurrent user model as well.
Current developer license on an email. Will this upgrade that, or will this overwrite it, or start a new one with the same email?
You're better to start a new one. So you could change it. So you can change the email associated with it and change the username. But we can also, you can log a case and have the entitlements lifted. But you need to be a member of the partner community for us to do that. Yeah?
Just wonder how to test the number of users.
Okay.
High number of users.
So how to test high concurrent users?
It was mentioned before that it won best practices.
Yeah.
I wonder how to test that.
So it's complicated. So typically you'll need something to simulate the concurrent users. So we don't have any tools that we give you specifically to do that. So it might be something like HP Load Runner, which you're going to have to host on some infrastructure of your own. When we do concurrent user testing as a process, we have to engage our support teams. We have to notify them of your test plan, what the expected thing is going to be. We don't call it stress testing because we don't want anything to break. So we work with you on the test plans and so on, so that it's testing to a degree. But then you run your tests, and our support team will assign somebody to basically monitor what's happening in case anything bad happens. And if something bad happens, they'll typically terminate that test, like shut off access to the org. And again, we only test in sandboxes. We don't do that sort of testing in production environments. Okay, how are we for time?
We're just on time. It's
Just on time?
Yep.
All right. Well, Mark and I'll be here for the next 15 minutes if anybody wants to come and have a chat. But thank you very much.
Thank you.